Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm back with another apartment renovation and another part of my color-drenched series where I am going through and creating a bunch of apartments inspired by specific colors and trying to sort of drench the space in mostly that one color. I recently renovated the other apartment in this building. These are the Zenview apartments that are 2 stories, and it was a dark green. And the amount of people that suggested that I do like a lavender or a lilac, like a pastel purple, was a lot, and I decided we would go ahead and do that because the only purple I've done so far is almost a magenta-y purple, and there's not a lot of purple in The Sims 4. However, we do have quite a few items that I thought could work for this. So I'm excited for you to see how it comes out. It ends up being kind of a lofted space with the living room on the 2nd floor, and it is a 2-bedroom apartment. If you do like this build and like how it turns out, you can find it on the Sims 4 gallery under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will be in the description down below as well. And it should be in 2 separate uploads, as I will have to upload the floors separately, but I will have the names of both of those uploads in the description. I also wanted to let you know that I still have a creator code with EA, so if you're buying any Sims packs on the EA app, you can enter my code Gryphi at checkout to support me as a creator. Thank you so much for considering, and thanks to EA for sponsoring this portion of the video. So working on the kitchen now, I knew I wanted to use the countertops from the country kitchen kit, but I really wasn't sure if I wanted to use the upper heads or not because they have very specific clutter to them and they're all very different shapes, so I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get it to fit in this area without it feeling too repetitive. I do go back and end up using those upper heads, but I do play around for a while with some base game ones and a few other ones, but I do end up going back to the country kitchen kit ones in the end, as they are just a beautiful pastel purple and really the only ones this color in the game. So I ended up doing that, and then there's a separate stovetop and oven on the island, and I play around with the sink and all of the decor in here, but I do bounce around a little bit from like room to room as I get ideas and find items that are in the correct color for this apartment. That tends to be the case with this series, as it's really strongly inspired by a single color that I'll find an item and I'm like, oh, I need to use this, but it doesn't fit in this room, so let me just throw it somewhere else. I don't forget about it. And then right here, I am changing our fridge to actually use this one that I believe is from Cottage Living. It matches really well with this set. It's so pretty. I love this style of fridge. It's honestly like a dream fridge of mine. I would love to have a more like vintage inspired or maybe like a Smeg fridge. I think that'd be so cool, but who knows, maybe someday. Anyway, I decided at this point, based on the size of the kitchen and some of the items I was adding, it would be kind of fun if maybe the Sims that live here are really into baking. So that was a vague idea I had throughout this build, but it's very much just like cutesy pastel, and that worked beautifully with the items we have in these swatches. So just working out the doors to the bedrooms up here and placing down some of the windows. I have the doors to the rooms in a little archway, and then we're going to be heading back downstairs to continue cluttering up the kitchen. I've always got to add the cutting boards down here. There's also a stand mixer, which came with the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack, and then just cluttering up these shelves that I put up above the sink. But yeah, I definitely feel like this is one of those colors in the game that we really don't have much of, and I don't really know why it is, why we don't have that much purple. We have a lot of blue and pretty much every other color except for purple, and I would like to request that the Sims team adds some more purple in the game. They're not going to hear this, they're not going to listen, but like, it's such a weird thing that we don't have much of 10 years into this game. It was very difficult to really go for any other style than what I did, and not everything is really that lilac or lavender color I was going for because it's such a limited color selection in the game. But I was really happy with the items I was able to choose. Right now I'm just working on a gallery wall, but you can see up in the lofted living area, I was able to use this gorgeous shelf from Pastel Pop. I have a sofa up there from there as well right now. I don't think I'm going to keep that, but I do keep the rug, and I end up using the armchairs from Pastel Pop and the love seat up there right now that is from the High School Years pack. Anyway, right now I am just adding some more windows down here and putting down a rug of where I think I'm going to be putting the dining table. And I thought I was going to do a mixture of chairs here, but I ended up just going with these base game ones because they were the perfect color. And I grabbed a light to put up above that, and the curtains I ended up using are actually these like really sheer curtains from High School Years. I use them quite a bit just because they're gorgeous. And they fit the color scheme well enough for this build. Everything else that was purple was like the wrong color and a little bit too heavy in fabric. And I thought this one just made a whole lot more sense for this style of apartment, I suppose. And then down here, I realized that these bookcases were the exact same color as the walls. So I decided I was going to use some of those. I also grabbed one from the pastel pop kit that's going to be going in the upstairs area, which I love. But over here, I used a few of these and used this as kind of a built-in office space. So I'm going to be adding a desk in front of that. And then there's a little entryway here. At first, I thought I was going to have one of those built-in closets from Get Together in there. And I do place that down, but I am going to get rid of it in the end for having a slightly larger entryway room that I can fit a couple more items in. But here's the desk I had mentioned. I am using the desk from the Comfy Gamer kit and then just getting some more artwork over here. And I loved this mural I put up on this giant wall here. It's a very similar color to the wall, and I just thought it was really a nice way to fill up that space since I was very limited on artwork that was purple. It fit the style very nicely here. But here are those chairs that I had mentioned. I also grabbed a lamp and this vase of pampas grass that is like a yellow vase with purple grass in it. I thought it was so nice. So I was quite happy about that. And then I should be swapping out over here a mural, or not a mural, a tapestry on the wall next to the bookcase from the horse ranch pack. But the item I had before will be in one of the bedrooms. And then over here is going to be where we put the TV. Luckily, this TV stand was the exact color we needed, as it's also from the kids' room stuff pack that matches the bookcases downstairs. I also got a record player up here, and then there's going to be a corner shelf from high school years that I just put a little bit of clutter on. Nothing too complicated. I just wanted to make sure everything felt like it was cluttered enough, like this space was lived in. And there's a lot of personality. It's definitely a little bit, I wouldn't say this style is maximalist by any means. However, like with the amount of stuff around, like the clutter is kind of maximalist in like there's so many things. So that was kind of the idea. I feel like this is more of a leans a little bit more Danish pastel if I had to relate it to a style. But I was just really having fun with the items in the game that came in these colors and trying my best to fit them all together. But anyway, this is our one bathroom in this apartment. There are no bathrooms upstairs. There's just this downstairs one. So I have a shower in here as well as a toilet and a sink, you know, all the things you need. I just have a standing shower, though I tend to usually go for shower tub combos, but I didn't think it was necessary here. However, I did get to use this beautiful wallpaper from Pastel Pop that has strawberries and flowers on it. I really love this one, and I think it really helps with this bathroom space. And then I just have like a little drawer unit next to the sink for some additional storage. And I will be getting like a rug in here and some towels. And I did end up actually getting that cabinet up above the toilet in a beautiful purple swatch as well. I just kept finding items that I wanted to use, and I was really excited about it. I always say this as part of this series, but it's just really fun going through items and finding swatches you might have forgotten about or you've never used because you're filtering by a specific color. And I've definitely found a lot of items throughout this series that I've never used, and I might not have used in this series even, that I might try to, whether it's like a color combination or a design, a pattern, something that's like not my favorite, but could be really interesting to try and incorporate into just some sort of design. So I'm thinking about doing some builds or apartments sometime soon using items that I never use or dislike. I've done it in the past, but it's definitely been a while. Let me know if that's something you would like to see, and also what other colors you would like to see for this color-drenched apartment series. Anyway, back in the kitchen now, adding a little bit more clutter. I wanted to hang up some pots and pans on the wall, so I tried to incorporate that into this gallery wall, and I also added a plant on the counter. And then we're going upstairs to figure out what beds I'm going to use in the two bedrooms. I end up using the new bed from the Pride update in one of them, and in the other I have this more like boho inspired bed from high school years. I really like both of these, and I thought it was really fun to lean into the purple in one of those beds. I guess in both of them, but in the new Pride bed, I picked one of the swatches that had that beautiful purple color and tried to match it with all of the other Pride items that came with it for that particular flag, which I thought was quite fun. So here I am just swapping out some of the rugs, and you can see I already placed down some of the inflatable furniture on the balcony as it comes in the purple swatch, and I thought that would be such a fun place to use it. Inflatable furniture is definitely a throwback for me. I had a like inflatable like blue chair when I was a kid. I don't think it was even human size. I think it was like for a doll, because the human-sized ones were really expensive, but my grandma was able to find a place that sold the smaller ones for like dolls and stuffed animals. So I had one of those, and so I think of that when I see these in the game. And I thought it would be perfect for an outdoor space. So that's where I ended up doing that, but just finishing up decorating the bedrooms before we head out there. I just really loved how the purple and the green work together in this space. And I used one of the lamps from base game that has a little fox on it. I just thought it was so cute. And this gorgeous mirror from high school years. And just in case you weren't aware, there was a big SDX drop recently that added a bunch more Pride items, including this bed and some wall art and a few other things to the game, plus some cast items as well. And the color scheme I'm using in here and the bed, like the flag all of there, is I believe inspired by the gender queer flag. Moving to the balcony now, I have the blow up furniture I had mentioned, and I paired it with this rug from Pastel Pop that matches the wallpaper in the downstairs bathroom. And then I also used this giant plant that has purple leaves. I don't think I've ever used it in that color before. I think it's really interesting, and it just made sense to use in a purple apartment. And then there are places for your Sims to grow some different plants out here. And I will be grabbing some lounge chairs as well before we go back inside to make sure I have a trash can and all of the necessary things for this build. But with that, we're going to be heading on into screenshots, so I really hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. And a massive thank you to my YouTube members for all of your support. If you'd like to become a member yourself, you can click the join button below the video or the link in the description. Please enjoy the screenshots, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye everyone.